Today being the last day, let's take a look at what are we taking back with us. Essentially, the Gita speaks of revitalizing our inner personality with positive thoughts, with the thought of the higher, with the thought of the spirit and not matter. And in order to get us out of this infatuation with the world, this entanglement with the world, they have, the masters, the gurus, the rishis, have in their wisdom given us such a comprehensive path that you can't escape it. Still we manage to escape it, that's a different thing. So the three yogas, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, is so designed that whichever equipment that you are using, it is possible to anchor your thought in the higher while you're transacting with the world. And in the Upanishads, the Jnana Yoga, for instance, which is a practice for the intellect. What does the intellect do? The intellect basically discriminates between pairs of opposites. So instead of getting enmeshed in the pairs of opposites in the world, all that it says is distinguish between the permanent and the impermanent. And it says it so beautifully. So whenever your intellect is working, whenever you are discriminative by nature, analytical in nature, questioning and looking for answers, you have the answer. And in the Upanishad, short invocation says it all. So it gives you that clarity of thinking. That is Purna, infinite, whole, complete. That means Brahman, God, Atman. Then when you look at the world, you find Idam, this world is also Purna. Everywhere you look, there is eternity, all-pervasiveness. Qualities of Brahman seem to be reflected in the world. And when this world has emerged out of that Brahman, what remains is Purna. What a beautiful thought. And once you learn the art of reveling in this knowledge, you gain the clarity of thinking which helps you in the world. The taking care of the world and its problems become, as they say in Hindi, baएं हाथ का खेल. Easily. Today, what is an insurmountable problem fades when you use the power of your intellect and discrimination. Then there are times when you are not intellectual, you're emotional. Does the Gita leave you there? No. It infuses you with tremendous devotion. And there have been people who have presented devotional compositions to us, and they move you even now, like Mirabai, for instance. Listen to one such. Then with the body, at other times you are active. You're neither intellectual nor devotional. You want to get out there and act. How must you act? Act in a spirit of service and sacrifice, as we saw yesterday. And so, with these three yogas, whatever you're doing, whichever equipment you're operating out of, the thought is anchored in the higher while you are transacting in the world. And this is one of the most practical, most doable scriptural injunction ever. And if you still can't do it, then there's something wrong with our understanding of it. So when you go out there tomorrow onwards, act, as they say, when you're inspired. And hopefully you're inspired at the end of these 4 evenings. When you go back home, don't say, oh, thank God it's over. It's only begun. This wonderful journey of ours from this shore of mortality to the other shore of immortality has only just begun. And let's pursue this with the renewed vigor, renewed enthusiasm, renewed energy that we might have acquired in these 4 days. So, a wrap-up of the last 3 days that we've seen. First, we started on the very first day, we started with the choice that we have. We have a choice of being happy or unhappy, and this is our choice. It has nothing to do with circumstances, it has nothing to do with what's happening around in the world. Identify with spirit and not matter. The moment your thought is uplifted, removed from matter, and anchored in something higher, irrespective of what the circumstances are, you might be in the worst of circumstances, you'll still feel a cheer, a calmness descend on you. Then we took a look at why is it that in spite of the Bhagavad Gita being so rich with knowledge and wisdom, we still don't take to it. At best, we pay lip service to it because of certain inherent misconceptions. And the most important misconception is that if you study the Gita, you can't enjoy yourself. And therefore, whenever you see a spiritual person, you hesitate to go near him because you say, I'll have to pull a long face to go there, and he's also pulling a long face. And whenever you have a party, a wedding, some joyous occasion, you invite the whole world, you will not invite a spiritual person. Why? You can't enjoy. Strange ideas you have. In fact, it is only a spiritual person who enjoys the world. We don't enjoy. We are too busy trying to enjoy. We're struggling to enjoy. Nobody enjoys. And the most important thing is that Gita helps you, Vedanta helps you to free yourself from the shackles you've put yourself into, the prison that you yourself have put yourself into. You know, it's the most ridiculous thing is that not only do you enter the prison of your own volition, not only do you lock yourself in it, then you take the key and fling it outside. So there's no chance for you to escape from that prison. On day 2, we saw the importance of discipline, of sense control and mind control, for which you have to reinforce the intellect, strengthen the intellect, exercise the intellect with knowledge. And so knowledge is of the essence. Knowledge, how often? Not once a year here. Every single day, expose yourself to this knowledge. There is plentiful knowledge in this country. In our country, we have all kinds of shortages, but we have no shortage of knowledge. Whatever be your inclination, whatever kind of form of presentation appeals to you, whatever school of thought appeals to you, plenty of knowledge is there. Help yourself. Read it, listen to it, watch it every single day. And yesterday we saw, what did we see? YTD formula. YTD means not year to date, but Yajna Tapa Dana. You got it. Infuse your life with these 3 concepts, Yajna Tapa Dana. and you will not suffer in the world, you will be prosperous, you will be happy, you will grow into a towering personality.